Alright guys, welcome back to the channel. I'm going to get into a rain gear specific video, and hopefully it's helpful to some of you guys that don't have a lot of experience backpacking in the rain. So first things first, let's talk about rain jackets. This is something that I've definitely went back and forth on. So I wore the heavier rain jacket for years, and I recently switched to a lighter rain jacket like this. So over the years, I've kind of heard multiple people say that the words lightweight and waterproof don't really go in the same sentence ever, which I really kind of believe for a long time. So I have my heavier rain jacket here, which is a Mountain Hardwear Prestige. This is kind of my go-to anytime I know that it's going to rain for sure on a trip. This is a discontinued jacket, so you really can't get it anymore, but it's a dual layer. It keeps me very, very dry, which is the idea that something super lightweight is going to bleed through and still get you wet, as where something a little bit thicker will keep you completely dry. Now the trade-off is breathability, as where this might breathe and you won't sweat in it. This one, it's not going to breathe as well, so you're going to perspire and you're still going to be wet. Like when I first got this rain jacket, I was in the rain and I just remember taking it off and the whole inside just being really, really wet. And I'm pretty sure it's just a breathability thing, because something that's waterproof is pretty much not going to breathe good. They always sell rain jackets that are breathable, but the more breathable it's going to be, the less waterproof it's going to be. And a lot of rain jackets like these too will also have like a coating on them that will wear off over or through time. So anyway, this rain jacket being a lot more waterproof than the other one, you know, it's definitely, you're going to sweat in it more. So it's kind of a trade-off, whether you just want to get rainwater drenching you or if you just want to have a little bit of sweat inside. But this one has pit zips too, which are really, really nice to help with that issue. And this is my rain jacket that I still bring with me today. I believe it weighs like 15 ounces, so it's pretty much a pound. If I know it's gonna rain, I'm bringing this one. There's not a huge chance of rain, and it's not in the forecast, I might still throw a lightweight rain jacket in like this. These actually, they work decent, but they definitely bleed through. The most popular ultralight rain jacket that I know of on the market is the Outdoor Research Helium 2, and I have seen countless people just say that they're not waterproof, that they bleed through, talking about whether it's the coating that wears off or if they just don't work after a while. But I think it's just because it's a super lightweight rain jacket that just has bleed through super quick. I've watched probably at least 3 thru hikers on long trails that just get to the point where they just don't even wear rain jackets anymore, because you can hike in your t-shirt, you know, if it's warm enough, and you just get wet, or you put your rain jacket on and then you get your rain jacket and your t-shirt wet. So it's just another layer to get wet. So a lot of people just ditch the rain jackets altogether. I think that if you had something a little bit heavier, you know, you could stay dry, but then again, if you're hiking all day long, you're gonna sweat, and it really doesn't matter what you're wearing, if it's breathable or not, you're gonna be sweating, especially with that, like a heavy pack on or whatever. Now talking about rain pants, this is something that I've never really brought on backpacking trips. I always just wear athletic shorts and they just get soaked, and sometimes it's a little bit uncomfortable, but it's not like a deal breaker. As long as I keep my core pretty much dry, I know I'm going to be fine out there. When it comes to rain pants, I've never wanted to wear like a full-length rain pant like what I have right here. These are Frog Togs. They're really, really baggy. I mean, there's the leg width right there. They're gigantic. They're really swishy. I never would want to hike in these. There's really not a lot of like rain shorts on the market. Something you can just pull over whatever you're wearing and wear. So I actually made a pair. I took a pair of Frog Tog pants just like that, and I cut the legs off and made shorts out of them. I haven't used them in the rain. I did take them on my last trip that I was expecting rain on, and I didn't have to hike in any rain. But these are really nice. They weigh pretty much nothing, and I just think it's a great alternative to, you know, some of the rain kilts that people wear, or skirts as I like to call them, out of Dyneema composite fabric, which if you don't know what that is, it's a super strong, super lightweight, thin material that absorbs no water, and it's very, very waterproof. So when I say that lightweight and waterproof never fit in the same sentence, it's kind of a lie when it comes to Dyneema, because Dyneema is just crazy good, but I don't think it's breathable. So although there are a couple companies that make full rain jackets out of Dyneema, I've never tried one, and I don't believe it's going to breathe at all. I think it's just going to be a sweat box. A lot of people wear the Dyneema kilts that you just wrap around your body, and that's great. I'm sure they work really well, but I'm not hiking in a skirt.
Not too bad, right? Better than a skirt, huh?
And I don't know. I mean, with breathability, I don't think it matters. It's not your core. So I don't think you need to worry about that. So I think it's a great option. I'm sure they weigh like nothing. If you're into that, that's definitely a good route. But the Frog Tog cut down short, I think it's going to be a game changer for me. I wish they made like some Dyneema shorts. Rain shorts. I would definitely try those out. Let's talk about gloves. Gloves are something that I don't bring ever, like rain gloves. That is, I did have one trip in Dolly Sods where my hands were so wet and cold by the end that I lost all the function in this muscle in my thumb. So although I can move my fingers and do things still, I didn't realize the twisting motion I'd have to do when I put my key in my door. It took me 2 hands and several tries to get my door open in my truck. And then it took me 2 hands while inside to get it to start. So I haven't had a chance to test these out yet, but one of my friends that actually works outside for a living gave me these gloves. And now they're just basic latex gloves, but they're like a dual layer. He wears these to do like, I think he takes like water samples and stuff out in the wild, and he does it all year long. So he's always out in the elements. And I think this would be, or he told me that they work good to keep his hands warm. And granted, like, you know, latex and whatever you're doing, like, you might sweat in them, but it's probably going to act more like a wetsuit to where your body or your hands will warm up that water that's in the glove, and it'll keep you warmer rather than just ice cold water hitting them. I think those are a decent option, better than having nothing, at least, I'm sure. And they make like rain mitts on the market, rain gloves on the market, which I've never used. But just having that one little scare where I lost function in my thumbs, you know, if it's in the middle of summer, I'm sure you're going to be fine. But if it's cold and rainy, rain gloves are definitely something you might want to consider. So let's talk about feet. It's really, really hard or possibly impossible to keep your feet dry while you're hiking through the rain. So they make waterproof shoes, they make waterproof socks. But do any of them really keep your feet dry? And I think no, because feet sweat. They just sweat like crazy, especially if you're pounding out miles on the trail. I think that waterproof shoes, although they keep the outside water from getting in, they're not going to breathe at all, just like a lot of the other things we've talked about, and you're going to be just swimming in your socks, basically. And I've actually always just disliked the idea of waterproof socks. I know a lot of people have used them in the past and they work, but it's kind of like the same thing as a waterproof shoe to me. I feel like, yeah, it's going to keep the outside water out, but you are going to literally just be like so wet from sweat and non-breathability. You know, when it's just rainwater coming into, just say, tennis shoes or trail runners onto wool socks, your feet will warm that up. If you've ever done a stream crossing where you just walk through water, within a couple of miles, your feet really warm that water up. And even though you're kind of wet, it's still like a warm water, so it doesn't bother you that much. So I personally do not hike in waterproof shoes. I know my wife, she hikes in waterproof boots, and she'll jump puddles from time to time. And sometimes she's successful keeping her feet dry and everything. So it's really... There's like a time and a place for waterproof shoes and non-waterproof shoes. You really have to take in consideration the temperature, you know, how much it's going to rain, how much you're going to be tromping through water. So out of all the rain gear I've talked about, they all have their own application. There's no right or wrong piece of gear to wear, in my opinion. I feel like it doesn't matter if you wear a light rain jacket or a heavy rain jacket. You can still stay dry depending on what the forecast is. You always just have to take in consideration the environment you're putting yourself in and what your gear is going to do in that situation. And really the only way to do that is to test it out. So if you're new to backpacking and you're getting your new backpacking gear and you get a raincoat, you know, walk around the neighborhood sometime whenever it's just pouring down rain. You know, maybe throw a backpack on too to kind of see what it's going to be like when you're sweating and walking around, and just see if you can stay dry, because it might only take 5 or 10 minutes for you to walk around to figure out if something is going to not work for you. that's basically all I have to say on the topic of rain gear. I'm sure there's probably a few things I'm leaving out right now, but if you guys want, throw down in the comments what you guys wear for some of these articles of clothing. I'd really be interested in hearing that. I know there's tons of options out there. I know like Frog Togs makes raincoats up top that are super waterproof and super lightweight, so they're a great option too. But I would like to hear what you guys do. My backpacking rain gear has evolved over the years. It's probably not even done yet, so I really would like to know your guys' comments and concerns, questions, anything down below. But that's it for the video, guys. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you on the next one. LiteAF Curve 40, available in Stormtrooper White.